Hello? Hi, Milka. This is Mark. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks. I just wanted to check on the status of my claim, and I had some other things I tried to email you, but I don't know if you got it or not.
What I got from you was a couple of copies of printouts from an owner's manual.
Uh-huh.
That's what I received from you. The owner's manual indicated that when tires are replaced, that all four need to be replaced.
Right.
That's what it indicated. But, you know, looking at all the service history that you had done at Sears, you know, Sears had recommended that you replace, you know, 3 out of the 4 tires 2 years ago, which you didn't buy. You only replaced 1 here, 1 there, and then 1 at another time. You know,
Well, I replaced...
And the fact on Sears, it's just you as the owner did not replace all 4.
No, man. It took a while for them to finally tell me that I needed to replace the 4 tires. They recommended an alignment, right? And I had gone back 4 or 5 times because it was still pulling hard to the left. Finally, after at least a half a dozen times of going there, they said because it was still pulling that I needed to buy a 4th tire. First, I didn't buy any tires from them. I just got an alignment. Then they said it pulls because you need 3 new tires. So I bought 3 new tires. And I was still doing it, so I went back multiple times until finally they said, one of the techs missed that you have to replace your rear shocks and a couple tie rods up front. So I said, well, you guys should have caught it at the very beginning, and I bought 3 tires and then a 4th tire, and now you're telling me I need to replace these parts. When you should have known that to begin with, maybe I wouldn't have had to buy the tires, you know? So I thanked Sears for it. I have all, I think they probably gave it to you with all my receipts and service history. I don't know if you saw it in there, did you?
See what?
Where they replaced the 2 rear shocks and some tie rods.
Yeah, I should have you replace left inner tie rod end and install 2 rear shocks, and you received an alignment.
Right. Okay, so that's where it started. That's why I had to buy these tires to begin with. Now, then I only had 1 flat to my knowledge. Brought the truck in, and they said, you actually have a screw in another tire, and I had a huge bolt in the tire that I had to take off and put the spare on the way to school. So I brought it there, and they found another one, and they could not get the matching Dunlop tires as replacements. And I said, well, isn't that an awfully big difference for a 4-wheel drive vehicle to have, you know, 2 tires at 7/32, and then 2 at 16/32? He said, I've been doing it for 25 years, and it's never been a problem. So I said, get rid of the Dunlops altogether so I have 4 BFGs. And he said, I'm telling you, you don't need to replace those 2 other tires. Now, I have 2 phone recordings of me calling other Sears Auto Centers, and they tell me that they would absolutely not recommend to have 2 mismatched tires on a 4-wheel drive vehicle. He should have not recommended that.
But you know.
No, I didn't, man.
You can't blame the store for something you already know. It's your vehicle. You have to take responsibility.
I took it to a professional, ma'am. I took it to a professional. That's what I did. I took it to a professional. And he's the one who should know, not me.
I agree with you there.
You told me all I had to prove to you was that his actions caused, by him putting those 2 tires on that were mismatched, caused the transmission damage. That's all I had to prove. I have proved that to you, and now you're telling me no.
You have proof. What you have is a printout of your owner's manual.
If the manufacturer puts it in there, is that not proof? And Sears is supposed to...
Sir, according to here, you had tire size 311050156, and they replaced it with 311050156. That's what they replaced your tires
One of them is mud and snow.
No, sir.
But one of them is mud and snow.
Anything wrong. You replaced 2 tires under your hazard warranty, and you had a tire balance done.
And ma'am, they're supposed to prorate all 4 tires when they cannot get my tire. They told me that. I have it recorded. I have tried to contact you for several months because I wanted to email you the recordings, but I couldn't get a hold of you. So, I mean, I tried what you told me your email address was, but it kept coming back. But those recordings, I mean, it proves that the standard procedure is not to put, you know, I mean, and one guy at Sears said, go ahead and have them call me if they don't believe you. Go ahead and have them call me.
Sears replaced your tires with the correct size tires, sir.
They went against the manufacturer's recommendations. An industry standard practice is to have 4 matching tires. That's tread depth, brand, and model. No, it's not. Yes, it is, ma'am. When I asked him...
You're not even going to go there. That's not going to help your claim at all whatsoever.
No, because I'm dealing with Sedgwick.
Did not replace all 4 of your tires. You as the owner have to take responsibility for your own vehicle. Sears isn't.
Ma'am, I can't...
Sears adjusted tires 2 years ago to you, but you obviously didn't want to, I don't know if you didn't have money.
What are you
doing? You replaced 3. Then you replaced the right rear. Up here where you actually
No.
For the road hazard warranty, and 2 months after that, not liability against my client at this time, and at this time, I cannot honor your claim.
Okay, ma'am, so what do I need? If the phone calls from other Sears managers saying that this guy did not follow standard industry practices, what else do I need? I mean, do you want me to have Jesus Christ himself write you a letter? I mean, I don't understand what you're asking. I don't understand, you know, what you know about vehicles, but because I mean, I'm a guy and I had no idea that this would be a problem, and it ruined the transmission on my truck, ruined it, and the mechanic says so.
Okay, but what did Sears do wrong?
What do you mean? Put 2 tires on instead of another 2 to match. You can go look at the camera, figure it out.
Hazard warranty, and they replaced 2 of them.
I should not have replaced them with different brands, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They should have been the same brand. If they couldn't get them, there is a policy for that, and it states that all 4 tires need to match on 4-wheel drive vehicles. Hospitals won't even sell somebody less than 4 tires with a 4-wheel drive vehicle. How should I know that? It doesn't matter if I had it for 10. If I never went to a dishonest shop, I would never find out this way, right? I mean, I can't help what he tells me, ma'am. He told me something that was incorrect.
Your allegations are not coming up. They don't match up with all the paperwork that I have here.
They don't match up with all the paperwork.
You have to be responsible for your own vehicle, sir.
Seeing as how I've left you like 12 messages and called dozens of times, your manager, your supervisor, because I couldn't get a hold of you to ask you questions that I had pertaining to this case, I don't think you're in any position to be telling me I don't have any. Well, maybe I could have it if you could answer your phone and do your job and call me back. You know? I mean, this guy, because he was busy in there, he didn't want to have to get 2 other tires and take the other 2 off my truck and put them on because he didn't have time. He didn't have the resources, the employees to do it. So instead, he just told me, no, it's fine to have mismatched tires. Yes, sir, it's a myth. It's a myth. And you're telling me that they were not wrong. I mean, I even have a recording of me on the phone with the very same manager telling me that you do not need 4 matching tires. They can be different brands. That's what he told me. Just the tread depth difference alone is enough to tear the differential out of the rear end right off the car. I mean, it'll explode. But see, I don't put it in 4-wheel drive a lot, and that's why it took, you know, like 4,000 miles to happen. Because I don't use 4-wheel drive very much. But I mean, if it says it right in the manual, Ma'am, I was, and that's why I brought it to his attention. And he told me to disconcern it. And I can see it.
They're contesting what you're telling us, so, I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry.
So none of these recordings, including the recording that I have to that manager, when I tell him that the manufacturer...
I don't have permission for those recordings. That's all.
I don't need it. I'm in North Carolina. I don't need legal ground to. As long as I know, it's legal. So you might want to look at this information again. Well, that's too bad, man. You don't need it, and I'm recording you. Every phone call is recorded because of cheaters and thieves.
Go ahead and disconnect this phone call.
Okay, go for it. So why are you denying my claim?
I have mailed you a denial letter. I advise you in the denial letter that if you have any other documentation to support your claim, send it in and I'll review it.
So can I get a different claims manager? Because frankly, I don't want anybody being the deciding person.
Decided on this claim.
Well,
I requested a denial. He reviewed all the facts and he agreed with the denial.
So you're saying that I have to take you guys to court when you've been taken to court before for fraud. And this is fraud. I'm sorry, but it's fraud. My attorney even told me. He said if you do not...